Well, anyone who's had to care for an aging parent knows just how difficult it can be. It's become a major issue for what's called a sandwich generation, adults caring for parents while also juggling their own careers and children.
TV personality Debbie Matenopoulos found herself in this situation. She left Hollywood at the height of her career to return home to Virginia and to care for her father. Debbie is now an ambassador for Caregiver Action Network. She has some good advice. She's here along with Marvel Adams, CEO of Caregiver Action Network. I didn't know this even existed.
Well, that's the problem.
Which is, first of all, caregivers, they are the heroes that people don't talk about.
Yeah, they
because
are.
what we're so worried about the aging parents, we don't talk about the caregivers, and probably what it was like for you to care for your dad.
Oh, it was a difficult position to be in, but it was not a difficult decision for me to leave Hollywood. And listen, I have one dad. There'll be a million shows, and if there aren't shows when I come back or when I came back, so what? So be it. You know, to me, my family was the most important and always will be. And truthfully, when you are doing something like that, you don't see yourself as a caregiver.
I know, but you're exhausted, right?
You're exhausted.
So
you feel guilty.
Right.
You feel overwhelmed with everything, but you just do what you're doing as a child or as a loved one. You say, I'm doing this for my family. You don't say I'm a caregiver. It's not until you step out of that role that you realize, wait a minute, I was a caregiver. And the truth is, if we all live long enough, we are going to be a caregiver or need a caregiver. And we don't talk enough about this and shed enough light on it. I mean, we talk about the beginning of life so much, about new moms and births, but what about the end of it? It's just as important.
Well, Marvel, you're the CEO of Caregiver Action Network, and I think it's important to define caregiver because so often the conversation is, I'm taking care of my aging parent, but it also works in other ways.
It is so broad, and that's part of our mission. As a not-for-profit, for 30 years, we've always led the charge of raising the awareness around family caregiving because it can be a kid that comes home. I was a caregiving youth, didn't know it until I became CEO of a Caregiver Action Network. At the age of 13, my mom had a stroke, and my after-school changed dramatically, and that happens for more than 4 million kids across the country throughout the year. And so you're talking over 63 million family caregivers across the country that are helping moms and dads get up in the morning while also getting the kids off to school. It is so a part of this that has to be made more manageable, and our goal at Caregiver Action Network is to make it more manageable. How do we have the technology, the resources, and frankly, the education, because you can go to a doctor, get a diagnosis, get a prescription. What do I do now? How do I help the next morning?
So talk about some of the technology, because again, you could be a parent and you're caregiving for your child and you think that's just being a parent, but it's defined as a caregiver. Or we have people that we all know, maybe your sister or your brother or someone needs your help. So it's not just always someone who's older, but you need to keep an eye on them somehow. What about some of the technology?
Also neurodivergence. A lot of people that have children that may have autism or be on the spectrum, and they're well enough to live alone, but they still need somebody or some help, someone looking after them. And there are a million different technologies. Now, we were even talking about AI earlier that they use in the office, which is wild. I mean, there's so much stuff that didn't exist when my dad was around, and I really wish it had. Like, one system that I'm using for my mom now, because I'm getting ahead of it, is called the
Nomo Smart Care?
It's Nomo Smart Care, and what I'm doing with that is there are these little chips, and you can put them on your refrigerator, so you know when your mom opens the refrigerator door. You can put them on her bedroom door, so you know if she's waking up later, if she's not taking her pills. You put things on the on her pill box. There's little satellites in these tabs, and they're connected to a hub. And the truth is that I can now, from afar, monitor what's happening with my mom on an app. My whole family can monitor to make sure that some sort of peace.
Yeah, some kind of peace.
That's the thing, in the long-distance caregiving is happening more and more. I mean, we're kind of a nomadic country. This is a very American thing where we're trying to recreate community through technology, but also understanding that making it manageable for caregivers. So nfcmonth.org is where we are sending caregivers throughout the month of November and beyond to find accessible resources so you're not overwhelmed, that you can go from being overwhelmed to competent and understanding what you need as a caregiver, and also knowing that it's going to change. What you need right now as a caregiver may change dramatically in 6 months or a year, and coming back to a not-for-profit that is going to be there with evolving resources and also making sure that caregivers are seen, because many times they're invisible. They're behind the scenes, and they don't necessarily want to take the spotlight. They just want to help and, quite frankly, get a good night's sleep.
The other thing I want to ask you is, at some point we were hearing that people who were doing caregiving were able to be compensated, and then I think there was some problems with that, with, at least in New York.
Yeah.
Do you help navigate that
We
situation?
do, and so 50% of the people that call our National Caregiver Help Desk are asking about finances, either about understanding their third-party insurance, how do they get paid, and many times we have to say it depends. It depends on the state you're in, depends on your income level. And so for us, from an advocacy standpoint, we want to really be able to say, caregivers need to be compensated because they're the backbone of backbone of the healthcare
Or you got to
system.
leave your job, and
Yeah,
then, right?
Look, there's maternity leave, there's maternity leave, and what about caregivers leave? You know, a lot of these people, they leave and they go take care of their loved one, and then they come back and there's no job. I had the luxury of being able to say, I'm going to step out of this and do this, but most people don't. Then what? I mean, I was just saying we need to go to Capitol Hill and lobby for this. We really do. It's an important subject.
So National Caregiver Action Network, how can people get the resources? How can they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So they can go to nfcmonth.org. So this month is National Family Caregivers Month, and so they can find information that is for disease specific for their certain role. They can find out exactly what they need for them in that moment. And beating caregivers where they are. So nfcmonth.org, and they can find resources right there.
All right, Debbie and Marvell, thanks for bringing more attention to this because, as you said, 63 million Americans affected by it, and so many New Yorkers are as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's check.